Hey, what's up, guys? Max Chadwick alongside Dalton Wasserman here, breaking down the number one player on the PFF big board for the 2025 NFL Draft, wide receiver and cornerback Travis Hunter out of Colorado. Going to break down his entire game, his entire career, what we love about his game, maybe the small things he could maybe improve on as a football player. Is very few to pick from Travis Hunter. But let's start at the top, Dalton, with the beginnings of Travis Hunter. He was a five-star recruit coming out of high school, the number 2 player coming out of high school, listed as an athlete, which is only fitting considering what he did during his collegiate career. He was originally committed to Florida State, and he pulled off the biggest shocker, I think, in recruiting history when he flipped from Florida State to Jackson State. He was the first 5-star ever to go to a non-FBS school, and the second 5-star ever to go to a non-Power 5 school. Ed Oliver was the only other one who didn't go to a Power 5 school. So shocked a lot of people by following Deion Sanders to Jackson State. Obviously spent 1 year at Jackson State. Then when Deion left to go to Colorado, Travis Hunter followed him there, and he was spectacular. A little banged up last year. This past year stayed healthy for the most part and won the Heisman Trophy because of it. So just an incredible year for Travis Hunter, incredible career for Travis Hunter as well as both a wide receiver and cornerback. And simply put, he is the greatest two-way player we've ever seen in college football.
Yeah, I think it goes back to that original decision, right, and wanting to play for the ultimate two-way player in Deion Sanders, right? And that decision to go to Jackson State, to get under Sanders' tutelage, has really helped him down there and all the way through his 2 years at Colorado, right? And I think it's about Coach Prime really understanding how special of an athlete this guy is, right? And you mentioned, he was listed as an athlete in high school recruiting. And look, that happens a lot, but it's really an understatement when it comes to Travis Hunter, right? But I think what makes him so great is along the way, the depth that he's learned how to play both positions, right? And that's the first fun part we get into is you get to go in draft night, probably in the top 5 of the draft, and go, wow, there's a wide receiver / cornerback, right, in this class. And it's legitimate. It's not a guy who, he messed around at receiver a little bit. I remember the days of Miles Jack playing a little bit of running back, right, or a Dory Jackson playing a little receiver. No, he did it full time at the Power 4 level when some thought it was impossible, and he won a Heisman Trophy doing it. So an elite player on both sides of the ball, and we got to break down his talents on both sides because there's really a debate about whether he should play one or the other or sparingly on the second, or if he's talented enough to do both, maybe at an 80% clip. There's going to be a lot of debate about what the plan for Travis Hunter is.
And I think that's why he went to Deion Sanders in the first place, because I think he's said in interviews before, he's like, Florida State wanted to be a corner. They didn't want me anywhere else, because obviously not enough coaches, I think, in college football would have seen Travis Hunter say, well, you can do both, right? Because there's been so many guys who were incredible on both in high school, but okay, in college football, you got to play one or the other, brother. Deion probably saw the incredible athleticism he had, and he mentioned before, Deion even played 2 ways. Deion even played baseball as well during his NFL career. He could probably say, I'm not going to tell you what you can't do out here. Yeah, you come play for me. You do whatever the hell you want, kid, and we'll play you both ways because we need you to play both ways, So that, I think, was a big reason why he also went to Coach Prime, saying, hey, Coach Prime sees a lot of himself in me, and he's going to let me be the best football player possible, which is why he was able to play both sides of the ball, and why, now if he played one or the other in the NFL, he would still be a first-round receiver and a first-round corner and probably a top 10 overall pick at both as well. So incredible. Just one of the best football players I think I've ever seen in college football in Travis Hunter. Let's break down his game individually first, though. And the fact we have to split it up into offense and defense is just ridiculous. But let's start on the offensive side of the football. What do you love most about him as a wide receiver?
I think it's the fact that you just see guys when they get the ball in their hands. There are certain guys who have a different level of natural instinct, right? And I think whether it's a screen or whether he's running a go ball to try to catch a deep shot, he just always knows what he's doing. And I'm going to mention this on both sides, but it's the incredibly high level of football IQ, right? And it's the fact that he's so good. Not only, you would think, he's a great athlete. He's going to constantly win in those press man situations when he gets it. But one of the best receiving grades in the country against zone coverage. I think on this side of the ball, his understanding of coverages as a cornerback helps him get to where he needs to go. On top of the fact that, and again, we'll mention this multiple times, the ball skills are just unreal.
Ridiculous.
I mean, his hands are ridiculous. His ability to go up vertically and get the football. He understands how to set up his routes. And something I really think is underappreciated is there are guys who are such easy movers when it comes to going from the catch point to getting into setting up defenders after the catch, it feels like he's always a step ahead, right? So you can put packages in for him in the short game where he can win after the catch. He understands releases and how to win on the deep ball. He really is, honestly, he's a complete receiver. He is. I just think the only question with him is, and on both sides, is going to be he's got kind of a thinner frame, right? They're kind of guessing maybe he's 175, 180 pounds, somewhere around there, but you talk about the tools, the speed, the ability to find his way open, and his ability after the catch, I think, is extraordinary. I think he's really the total package at receiver. If he were to play receiver full-time, I really do think he'd be one of the best receivers in the NFL.
It's just incredible that we talk about the ball skills for Travis Hunter, and usually for a corner, you talk about the ball skills. Okay, like his ball skills are like decent, and like they're good for like a decent for a wide receiver. No, Travis Hunter has ball skills that are incredible for wide receivers as well, which just makes his ball skills as a cornerback that much more ridiculous. So, yeah, you mentioned I think that's a great breakdown right there of just, hey, he is at all times the smartest player on the field at all times, because the route concepts he recognizes in coverage, he's able to do so. He recognizes coverages as a receiver as well. He mastered both playbooks at Colorado. I mean, he's just a guy who's always at all times the smartest player on the field. And you combine the smartest player on the field with arguably the most athletic player on the field, that's where you get a Heisman Trophy winner in Travis Hunter. So he was outstanding as a receiver this past season, 6th among all receivers in the nation with an 89 receiving grade. He had 15 receiving touchdowns this year, which were tied for most in the Power 4. He just, at all times, was like the number one guy for Shedeur Sanders at Colorado. And they had a lot of really talented receivers at Colorado this year, but there's no doubt in anyone's mind that the number one guy at all times was Travis Hunter.
Yeah, and again, the ability to do it against all coverages. And I think you mentioned it, his football IQ. There is an element when you get into the NFL as a wide receiver where you do have to know what you're doing. You can't just walk out there and be the best athlete. Yeah. You have to read coverages like a quarterback does. I think that's what separates him from me. He's so advanced when it comes to seeing the field full speed too, right? As you're going post snap and reading leverage from defenders, reading how you have to attack the football, knowing where the soft spots are. It's just incredible what he does on that side of the ball. And then at any point, it happened, more and more rarely as the seasons went on, was, okay, if he is in press man, he can get after it and get downfield, and Shedeur is going to give him a shot to win downfield. So just the complete package on one side of the ball, and as we're about to go through, the complete package maybe even more so on the other side as well.
Yeah, the athleticism he has is ridiculous. He's almost a 97th percentile athlete in our game athleticism score metric. He's hit over 22 miles per hour consistently in his career as well. Just an incredible athlete. And at cornerback, Dalton, I mean, the fact that we're talking about him as this good of a receiver at cornerback, he might even be even better.
It's freakish. I mean, it really is. 3rd in the nation in coverage grade this year, behind Josh Moten from Marshall, who had a great year, and Jahdae Barron, who could be another first-round pick from Texas, who won the Thorpe Award. 4 interceptions, 7 pass breakups. Again, the ball skills play, and I think this is where, okay, every receiver is supposed to have ball skills, right? And some are at an elite level, obviously. I think about guys like Justin Jefferson and Mike Evans, who just can go up and get the football. But when you bring that level of receiver ball skills to corner, no one really has that. A lot of times early in their careers, the reason that they do play cornerback is because they don't have the ball skills. They can't catch the football, right? They just need to play physical and break it up, and there's more good outcomes that can happen for them with incompletions. But with Hunter, it's dangerous. And he was the only FBS corner this season to be in the top 10 in coverage grade in man coverage and zone coverage. He's the only one. So he's also the most versatile corner, right? We talked during the season about how much Colorado ran cover one, ran man coverage. Reasonably so. They had Hunter and a group of great corners, but times you could see when they get in cover two and he's that flat player, he knows how to sink and read the quarterback, right? When they're playing in thirds, he knows how to sit back, read the quarterback, and react to the football and go find the football and then go get it, right? I think he's a complete player at corner, and I think his understanding of route concepts and things like that on the outside of the ball help him read coverages, especially when you talk about in zone, because when you're playing zone coverage, it's all about reading what's in front of you, and I don't think anybody does it at a better level than him. And then just the instincts to go get the football and make big-time plays when the opportunity presents itself. It's, again, the combination of freakish athleticism and high football IQ that I think we need to talk about that part more, because the mental ability that it takes to play both sides. Football's a complex game nowadays.
Yeah.
The fact that he understands it at such a high level on both sides, almost, honestly, it gives me hope that he could play both sides at a close to a full-time clip, because it all goes together, and all he has to do is react at that point.
And the fact that, the instincts, the IQ, the athleticism, and the endurance he has as well. There's a lot of times, obviously, when you get tired, you're not thinking as clearly. He's still thinking clearly, even playing 150 snaps a game. Like, it's insane what he's doing out there.
I go back to the Baylor game and the forced fumble in overtime. After they just played an excruciating game.
Yeah.
They tie the game on a Hail Mary at the end of regulation. Score first. Baylor gets the ball, and he punches out a fumble at the 1-yard line after all of that. And maybe it was you could argue it was the biggest play of Colorado's season, but to have the wherewithal to do everything he does is just incredible. And it's not just physical, it's mental as well. It's why no one's ever done it to the level that he's done.
And that play, and there's other plays on his tape as well, is a perfect encapsulation of he's willing to do anything, right? There's times where there are corners out there who say, listen, I'm your lockdown corner. I'm going to lock down one side of the field, but I'm not going to tackle, right? I'm not going to be a guy who's going to come up and be a willing tackler. And you live with that because like, okay, he's such a good corner that you live with him not tackling as well. Travis Hunter wants to tackle. Like it would be completely understandable if Dion told him, hey, listen, you're playing 120 snaps a game. We need you on both sides of the football. Don't worry about he's only 185 pounds, like you said before. It's not like he's a massive corner either. Don't put your body on the line like that. We just go out there and cover, go out there and play receiver, and don't worry about getting hit or giving hits, right? He is willing to tackle like that. He forced a fumble on the goal line. There's many other times here he blows up screen passes as well. Just, I love that part of his game too, where it would be completely understandable if he had a mentality of, listen, I'm just not trying to get hurt out here because I'm playing so many snaps. He's not like that. Like, he's giving his all on every single play. I love that from Travis Hunter as well. What do you the question, Dalton, that I think will be the biggest one going into the NFL draft is, what on earth do you do with Travis Hunter? What would you do personally if you're the one that drafts Travis Hunter?
I would give him the shot. I think just like Deion Sanders gave him the chance at Jackson State and then at Colorado to go, okay, if you think you're good enough to do this full time or close to full time, I don't know that he'll play, because there were games where he played 100% or 99.9% of offensive and defensive snaps. Maybe where they would get into the fourth quarter, it's like, oh, he's taking one snap off all night. I don't think it would be at 100% because that's most likely impossible, but I could see something like 80% on both sides. At least give him a chance to do it, because he has yet to prove that he can't, right? I think there's a lot of people thinking right now that, okay, he could be the best corner in football and we can use him a little bit at receiver. But a guy this talented, if he has the endurance for it, and the one question, because we have seen him get banged up each of the last 2 years, right? And usually what happens there is it's a hit that he takes, or even a tackle that he has to make on defense that tweaks a shoulder or something like that, right? That's going to be a major question when it comes to hitting people full-time in the NFL. It's just a different level. But me personally, I haven't seen any reason he can't at least try it. And then if you feel like, okay, it looks like he's more comfortable at one or the other, or it looks like he's just playing better, or he doesn't have the endurance for it, then you decide that. But early on, I would give him a chance. I would experiment.
No, I understand. I completely understand as well. I think he would probably be a full-time corner. I think what probably will happen is he plays full-time corner with packages at wide receiver, like 10 to 15 plays a game at wide receiver. But I'm with you, man. I think there is a case to be made that just play them at both. And if it doesn't work, you could always go back and say, okay, we'll do this, that we'll lessen it a little bit.
I do wonder, though, I've wondered this the whole time, is how much of this would be his decision? Because receivers make a hell of a lot more money than corners. Yeah. Right? That's just the nature of the game, where corners are making in the low 20s and receivers pretty quickly here. Jamar Chase might make $40 million a year here pretty soon. So I think you've got also a business decision if you're Hunter. What if he tells teams, behind the scenes at the Combine, hey, I think I'm leaning towards playing receiver. I'll make more money doing that. Now, I don't know if that's really his end game here, or if he really just wants to be the most special two-way player ever. We don't know some of the intentions behind that once the money gets on the table, but I do wonder how much of that decision is his. And could he tell teams, maybe like he did in his college recruiting, hey, I want to play both ways, let me. And if you're not going to let me, who's next? Who's knocking? So it's not, he could go first. We've seen him, in mock drafts possibly go fourth or fifth. It's going to depend on each team what they're playing, and it's going to be interesting through this process to see who presents Travis with a plan. Yeah. Here's what we think we could do for you, and, if we can make you the two-way superstar at this level and just be something that no one's ever seen before. Real quick before we wrap up, where is he in your wide receiver rankings, and where is he in your corner rankings? 1 in both. Really? Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. I have him 2 at receiver and 1 at corner. Yeah, I'm behind McMillan probably. Yeah. I just think his I'm so impressed on both sides with just his mental acuity for the game. Just the way, again, at receiver, the way I think if he played full time at receiver, I think he moves pretty similar to Justin Jefferson. I really do. I think he could get on that level if he played receiver full time, and if he played corner full time. I think we know he can be the best corner in football.
Oh, yeah.
He's as talented a corner as we've seen come out lately, on par with, say, Derek Stingley and Sauce Gardner a couple of years ago. I really think he could be among the elite players on either side. I have him first in both.
And obviously first overall on your board.
Yeah, easily.
Yeah, he's just ridiculous. 1,487 snaps this year, and he still was an All-American at both wide receiver and cornerback for PFF this year. Dalton's number one player in the NFL draft. My number one player in the NFL draft. Travis Sick was number one player in the NFL draft. Let us know in the comments below whether you think Travis Hunter is the best player in the NFL draft and where he should go in the NFL draft as well. Dalton, what do you think, real quick before we leave? What do you think best landing spot for him would be?
The best landing spot. I think where he would improve a team possibly the most, and like if we're talking about getting maybe to the, because on it he would fit anywhere. Right?
Yeah,
he's just that. Certain guys in every draft, you could put any 32 teams, but boy, if he did fall number 5 to Jacksonville for a team that needs secondary help in the worst way, and then you think about
him and Brian Thomas Jr.,
Travis Hunter, Trevor Lawrence throwing to him,
Liam Cohen drawing it up,
Liam Cohen drawing up after the catch sort of stuff, because that's kind of the specialty in that offense. If he did get to Jacksonville, we might have a real story on our hands, but he would add such a base of talent on both sides for any team that he goes to, if it's New England, if it's Cleveland, if it's Tennessee, that it's going to be a big story anywhere he goes.
It's going to be fascinating where he goes in the NFL draft and what the plan is for Travis Hunter in the NFL draft. Let us know in the comments below what you think Travis Hunter should do in the NFL and whether or not he's the best player in the NFL draft. We've got plenty more of these prospect profiles coming out on this channel. So subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any single one of them. For our producer Eli back there, for Dalton Wasserman, I'm Max Chadwick. We'll see you guys very soon.